Slate Philippines, he was like, okay, we play into Ruby. We need to get a jungler that, doesn't really necessarily supplement our lineup, but just deals with the Ruby in the early game, especially well with the, the CC immunity that Martis gets.
So yeah, overall, I think both teams drafted well. It's just a matter of making that Hayabusa work. And here's the hope in the Barangay have it figured out. Game 1 between Smart Omega and RSG Slate Philippines is upon us. Look at this mirrored start, orange for both. No, actually, they've rotated already. We're 45 seconds in.
Yeah, they're already jumping into it, right? And at the same time, the biggest factor here for Omega already, aside from Kelra playing this Harith here, how this transitions, it's going to be a good matchup versus that Moskov, but specifically Raizen, right? Rolling with an assassin jungler pick, especially against H2O and this Martis, you want to find those early pickoffs, those early kills as fast as possible. Start that snowball for you and your team.
You definitely want the momentum for Smart Omega, especially having Harith on your lineup, which activates at the mid-game. You need to get that early start because RSG, once they get their damage from the Feathered Airstrike, Martis is going to start popping off because of the the kit of having the ability to just completely decimate heroes if their HP falls to a certain threshold.
And this is how you do it. Again, you threaten this snowball lineup with, I'd say, unsolicited courage. Like, there's no reason that RSG should have made a 4-man rotation, but they did. And they caught Omega thinking, yo, is this for real? Are they doing this?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for that is, again, allowing EMANN to not have as bad of a time against this Harith pick, because if they just leave EMANN alone, he is going to get picked on, right? So I expect to see that here from RSG Slate as it leads into this first turtle of the game.
Yep. Again, these are the fundamentals of RSG Slate Philippines gameplay. Just putting heroes on the top lane, just making sure that there's enough pressure for Kelra to not be able to make a move. These are concepts that are easily abused by RSG.
Okay, well, it's H2O securing the first turtle of the game. Light comes in with the kick. Nothing commencing out of it, but they grab the objective.
That's as clean as it gets for a lineup that is arguably on the back foot against an assassin jungler.
Yeah.
They did well. They timed that turtle. They spaced out Raizen. They threatened him. They saw where the shadow was. So it's clear. And this whole time, EMANN was just farming.
Yeah, again, they didn't want to fight. They just wanted to put enough pressure on the front lines against Smart Omega. It's like if if you ask RSG, how much objective pressure do you want? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's the answer.
And that's what we can expect in the first 5 or 6 minutes until at least Exort has some burst, and then H2 can, just chase down and then combine and then I'd say daisy chain his decimates.
No, the other thing too is, if you're Stown here, you have your own kind of puzzle game. There's the way the dragon. They might be able to get it, and it's Mikko that falls here. First blood going to the hands of Exort already. Now the eyes here on the top side. Might be crashing down on Kelra. Kelra's got to be careful here. Gets the focus. H2O beyond the turret. There's the Zaman Force. Going to push RSG Slate back for now.
I love this gameplay from RSG Slate Philippines. Again, these are fundamental aspects of the game. These are concepts that are, played at the highest level. Just bursting that Ruby on the gold lane because they knew that they needed to rotate. Hold that thought.
Nice pick here. Exort going to flicker her out, though. Can't get away as Stown grabs the kill himself. And there you go. They even it out, but still, RSG Slate has a minor advantage here.
Now the question. We're not out of the woods if you're thinking as a member of the barangay. They did get a pick off. It's a trade on the board, 1-for-1, 4 minutes in. Where does it convert into? Where do they put that win?
Yeah, the thing is, if they win skirmishes, they still have to wait. RSG right now, they're the ones making the moves on the map. They're the ones making the pressure. And again, as you've said earlier, all while everything is happening, EMANN is just farming. And this is a Moskov. It's a Moskov that scales hugely on the end game. Even though you have a Harith, it can be activated in the mid game, where Smart Omega comes in. They need to find that window where they can fight into RSG. But with Light and Exort's positioning, they don't allow that from Smart Omega because they're always ready to fight.
Look at this immaculate pull by Renzio. He knows that the answer to the question earlier posed by Midnight for RSG Slate was yes. And what he's doing is there's no clear decision from Raizen. He's still taking his orange. He's just delaying it. So this is a great answer, I'd say, on the fly.
Yeah, it's like Smart Omega knowing what the steps are for RSG, and it just delays a little bit. You don't have to contest it. You just have to make sure that you create that window where RSG is delayed enough such that Smart Omega's timing gets bigger and wider.
Oh, well, right now Light's going to get pulled in. Should be fine. It gets out just like that. And, okay, they trade the turtle here, right? So that's 2 now in the hands of RSG Slate. And I felt like they wanted to go with a play up top, at least focus on EMANN, not let him just keep farming up like you guys mentioned. But inevitably, it didn't result into anything. Light, though, comes in. There's the Way of the Dragon right under everybody. Raizen still going to be able to get away, though. Comes back in. Everybody just backs off for now. A lot of this push and pull.
Look at the discipline from Raizen. He knew that he wasn't going to die. If that was me, if I was Hayabusa, I would have ulted right there.
You know, honestly, it's such a crazy skirmish that went on. Both Mikko and Light had the same idea. Unfortunately, H2 was in the middle of using his second skill, and he was not able to press the decimate to finish off Raizen. But again, the discipline, both of them, they just backed off. Nobody chased. Nobody went for a greedier kill. They knew that they needed to get away and go back to whatever they're doing.
Well, still here, the assault and the focus right now in the jungle of Omega. Raizen should be able to grab his purple. Still going to be fighting for it. Wasn't able to get it. It's retreat away from him.
No!
The peanut butter attack.
Oh!
Well, he
needed that.
H2 was level 9 at that point, and Raizen is level 8. So retribution damage was higher on the side of RSG Slate Philippines, which crippled Smart Omega's timing quite a bit because, the tempo maker or the momentum-based hero is now completely shut off. Because without the purple buff, it's hard for Smart Omega to make plays around his Hayabusa.
Crippled? More like destroyed. There's no way Smart Omega is snowballing right now. They're past the time limit.
He was decimated.
Oh. This is hard. Being a member of the barangay right now, it's difficult to watch this game. And as RSG pummels on through, just again procedurally cakewalking their way through the early game, they're about 2K ahead. What does this mean for EMANN and Kelra up top? Because we haven't seen much action from them.
Well, it's much of a farm game for both sides. But again, RSG Slate Philippines, they're getting all the objectives here.
Cool.
Meanwhile, in
Renzio.
the turtle area,
2 versus 1. I don't think he's going to be able to escape much from here. There's the Praiser's Wrath. Still about half health. Work done. Raizen goes up on the top side. Rest of the teams all fighting top side while it's a 2 versus 1 on the bottom side. Renzio able to survive, though. There it is once again, but they're still focusing here. EMANN, though, trying to get a kill. Can't get the pick he was looking for. Now it's a 2 versus 2 top side. Renzio finally gets taken out bottom as we have our eyes set on the top. And it's just a back and forth.
I was going to say that was a win for Omega. The fact that Renzio didn't die, but eventually he fell, and then there was a messy trade up top. I don't know where this puts both teams. I'd say RSG still in the lead.
yeah, Raizen died on top lane. Light and EMANN outplayed 3 heroes on the side of Smart Omega. This is not something that you want if you're holding this kind of lineup. Again, momentum is everything for Smart Omega. Yes, you do have late game scaling, but compared against RSG's lineup where the Martis will just stand on the front lines, guard EMANN, it's going to be really hard.
Oh, that was a nice pick there. EMANN going to get punished as I was just admiring how fast that Moskov attacks, but that's how fast he gets taken out as well.
Yeah. I'll take that flicker trade for a pickoff on Moskov any day. Kelra was happy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but EMANN was definitely much happier because he took a tower. He did miss a wave, but they're completely getting so much control over the side of Smart Omega, and they can't even take the tower in the top lane. Exort is there to defend, and again, this is the roles of RSG. Okay, you know what? Gold lane is not here. It's not gonna be able to defend my tower. I'm gonna sack my middle lane. Hold that thought.
They're gonna get a nice pull on H2O though. With I'm offended, Light has to flicker out. And now it's Omega turning slowly here, the tide of the game, able to find a couple pickoffs himself. And with Kelra grabbing that kill, we're going to start to see this Harith pick kind of shine as we get into that mid to late game transition.
Impressive use of the Way of the Dragon, though. Dare I say, Omega, yes, they're starting to find their wins. Oh, look at this. They're making a beeline for the Lord. This is a worthy trade for that tier 2 up top.
We'll see if they can fight this one. It's going to be less than half health. The pull comes in. EMANN gets the turret on the top side. Lord still low here. And it's Exort that grabs it. And now Nathzz stuck on Mikko, grabs a kill himself. And everybody from Omega still focusing on Nathzz. He falls here, but it's a trade for RSG Slate Philippines.
Nathzz could have died twice with that Lord Seal and that push by EMANN up top, and it would have still been worth it.
Oh my goodness, Exort with the magic worship, and I believe what took the Lord was a proc from the Lightning Truncheon, which is now, well, has been completed by, a lot earlier. But again, RSG, they just took everything from Smart Omega. That feathered airstrike was beautifully placed. It was perfect. It hit 3 heroes on the side of Smart Omega. And the beautiful thing is that the timing could not have, could not have been better, because he was able to land a feathered airstrike outside of the retribution range. So Smart Omega was forced to back away, and then the last strike from the from the bird took the Lord.
That's worth 2 green dots. I'd say it was worth 2 feathered airstrikes for Exort, and now they're back in the lead, about 3K ahead, 11 minutes in, and the map is not called home for Omega nowhere. Even their jungle is dangerous.
Well, going back to the keys to victory here, right? You give Exort that bursty hero. I would say he got it, right? You guys talked about how valuable that feathered airstrike with that lightning truncheon worked out. It's working out great for them. So that begs the question, what does Omega do about this, especially with the momentum that RSG Slate has right now?
I mean, at this point, you have to, introduce crazy chaos in this game. Like, look for potential pickoffs on the side of RSG Slate Philippines. But, what's making it hard for them is that Light and Exort is always positioning themselves in a way that it covers a lot of the important areas of the map, and also making sure that they're always ready to fight. So I think for Smart Omega, you need to be able to force arrows on the side of RSG Slate Philippines, because by the looks of it, RSG right now, they don't want to waste time, farming out the map. They just want to be able to fight.
A quick assessment of what these lineups are bringing, right? Omega has a solid amount of CC. I'm wondering what it's going to take for RSG Slate Philippines to fall into that. I think if Omega can just chain those, they'd be great. They'd be fine. So far, all of RSG's wins have been off the back of single pickoffs, spaced out engagements.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to do that, because look at the front lines. It's always going to be the Martis, with CC immunity, the Gloo, which technically has a full reset with a split, and Light with a Shunpo. Again, CC immunity. How do you, deal with this kind of lineup wherein you also have to worry about the Pharsa? Yes, you do have the Hayabusa, but it's always the vision game, and RSG Slate Philippines has always been one step ahead, because, the Chou is always at your face.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things here, too, is the responsibility of Mikko specifically to get those, whether it's the flicker or not, with the I'm offended. And if he can somehow catch Exort, I feel like that is a big piece of the puzzle. You take a lot of that burst away, and it would give you that advantage, because Kelra, he's not having a terrible game. He's 2-0-2 on this Harith pick. If he can get RSG Slate in that Zombie Forest the way he wants to, you take out that burst potential from RSG Slate, you're in a good position. And now it starts here with this next Lord.
Main worry for Smart Omega, however, is the damage output of this Moskov EMANN with the Inspire. Even though Kelra does get a lot of shields from every proc of his hits, again, the problem is that you cannot underestimate the damage output of a Moskov, especially with the Martis on their lineup. If your HP falls to this threshold, you immediately just die.
Spotted with just that one engage.
Light's going to go in with the Way of the Dragon. They're going to focus on Renzio. Gets chopped into the wall. But there is Kelra. But look at the damage from EMANN. And he goes down as Kelra's on a killing spree. Nathzz still going in. It's a trade, though, as Stown falls next.
H2?
Only EMANN down here. H2O able to get out of dodge. And just like that, RSG winning that fight. It was rather messy, though.
2 for 1. And say what you will about the math between Moskov's basic attacks and Harith's shielding, but he's called the Filipino Savage for a reason. Kelra played that immaculately well, but it's not enough to pull Omega out of this, not quite yet.
It's still hard, because it took the the attention away from EMANN for RSG Slate Philippines to just focus on getting Renzio, but Mikko was also standing in front of the Moskov. That's why the last hit didn't come out. So Kelra was able to dash away and get out safely, but RSG Slate Philippines, again, you're now seeing the damage output of this lineup. Even the Fredrin felt like he was a squishy hero.
Yeah, I mean, when he got just pushed into the wall. But here's the thing, right? Kelra picking up that Divine Glaive just now, this is going to be in a great position for them to, again, fight for this Lord, right? They stopped RSG Slate from getting it previously, so they do have what it takes to actually contest this and fight for it.
That last engagement, I'd call maybe 3/4 step forward. Like, it wasn't clearly ahead, but it showed some teeth from Omega.
It wasn't the step. But there's signs there. There's a glimmer of hope for Smart Omega. But again, positioning is going to be very, very important here for both sides. Light did, however, try to pick off the Fredrin, which what started that affair for RSG Slate Philippines. It wasn't the most unfavorable. It wasn't the most favorable position for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's the that's where RSG Slate Philippines can adjust to. With Chou on the front line, you need to be able to have this amazing patience to just look for heroes, constantly look for the Hayabusa and also the Harith on the side of Omega.
Light's going to go in again with the Way of the Dragon, trying to find a kill here. Mikko does fall, but it's going to be a trade as Light's taken out too. Renzio grabbing a kill for himself, still focusing down quite low. Stown goes in with the flicker, gets pushed back. Can't get the kill he was looking for. Still going to be alive though, has the split. But EMANN able to clean up, and now Nathzz on the hunt here. EMANN versus the world is a 1 versus 3. Doesn't have enough though to get the kill. Able to survive for another day.
Deja vu, this looks like that last big team fight.
Yeah, but this time around, RSG, they had a better way of engaging into Smart Omega. Light chose to go on Mikko, with which what started that fight. Even though they picked off the Ruby, Omega was able to get into position where they're able to fight. But again, the main concern is the damage output of the Moskov right now. Even Kelra, with huge amounts of shields coming out from the passive, it's still not enough. And EMANN was able to just completely maneuver around Omega's mobility, and he survived.
Reminds us of EMANN's Beatrix from MSC 2022. Each of Moskov's spears right now remind us of a single Wesker blast.
I was going to say.
It's pretty close.
And it's, the guy doesn't even need guns, right? He's just got a spear. And you can see the damage that he's pumping out here, but still, even with that, right, you have Omega, they have to deal with this Lord on the top side. They might most likely lose an inhibitor turret here. That they have great defense potential, especially against this siege, but there's the charge up.
Yeah.
Lord going to work on that turret for now.
In front of Pharsa, however, you see the damage from the feathered airstrike. One hit onto the Hayabusa, 50% of his HP. This is going to become a problem for Smart Omega because now the cooldowns on Exort, it's much lower on a feathered airstrike.
So far, given the trades that's been happening across the past 3 or 4 big team fights, Omega needs better timing. Omega needs a better angle because there's a 2-step plan here. H2 forcing the issue with Light.
Oh, Light's going to try to cut them off here. Who does he focus on? There's the Way of the Dragon. Renzio still going to be alive here. The Zaman Force was committed. No one going down just yet. Now Mikko, though, in trouble. H2O still looking for another as well. There's the immortality. It's going to be popped. Mikko falls here. Light somehow still alive.
Kelra, this is a much harder game on this Harith. It's kind of awkward for the Harith, to fight into RSG Slate Philippines, because you do ask the question, where do you start to get out? Do I consume the rest of the Zaman Force just to make sure that I get to a safe space, or do I fully commit? And that's why Kelra has not died yet in this game, because the majority of this, the team fights that are happening, Kelra was just trying to run away from the Moskov.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with Moskov when he's across from you is, one, you have to watch out from being pushed into a wall or maybe your teammates. You have to watch out for just that auto attack burst damage pretty much. And when you're doing that, there's a lot here to watch out for because the initiations just like this as well. But you can see, right, RSG Slate is so good at just poking down a little bit, and sometimes they kind of fake you out with these initiations.
There's very little opportunity cost for RSG Slate Philippines. The way that they engage, they don't even have to commit much. And this is what I was saying about Omega needing better timing, better angles. Yeah. They have to be sure when they get into a fight, it's either we win or we lose a trade. And so far, that's what's been happening. That's why RSG is in control.
Yeah, and imagine, we said a lot on the side of Omega, and for RSG, it's just 2 things. 18 seconds on the feathered airstrike.
Yes.
And then EMANN just hitting the towers.
2 things.
That's just that.
Just auto-attacking.
2 things for Omega. It's a grocery list. All right, Renzio has to find EMANN. Mikko has to get a good tempo break. I'm offended. Raizen needs to isolate somebody. He's rocking high and dry. Kelra needs to make sure that this is the Zaman Force that matters.
Yes.
So again, that's
Well, there's the checklist, grocery list, whatever it is. But they go with it. Kelra marks that box, steals the Lord. Focusing on Light here, but can they come out with this team fight on top? EMANN getting deleted by Raizen as EMANN falls. And Lord in the hands of Smart Omega.
Is that what they needed? They needed me to enumerate what to do. And they were listening. All right, you got it.
They went into a supermarket and bought everything. I would want to commend Mikko for controlling RSG. None of the junglers were able to land a retribution on the Lord, but the control was there. And Kelra, again, being the main hero on the side of Smart Omega, instead of trying to fight, he secured the Lord. And this is really important for Smart Omega because now they control the tempo. They have the Ruby. They don't have the Flicker, however. They're fighting into the fitted airstrike. But right now, this is a much better position to be in because you dictate how to start the fight.
Oh, right now, this Lord's still up here. It's going to work on this inhibitor turret. That's going to be a loss of a turret here in the base of RSG's slate. Looking for any angle they can find here. EMANN trying to clear the mid lane. And right now, I mean, given how the last 20 minutes of the game have gone, this is best case scenario for Omega. I mean, they're back in this game here.
This is good old-fashioned Omega. This is how they've been playing for the longest time since being established as a team, as a lineup, as a franchise, whatever you want to call it. This is why we love them.
This is the Omega timers, ladies and gentlemen. Smart Omega, they're now the ones controlling the tempo, but I do want to point out that Exort just completed the Divine Glaive. The Fettered Airstrike is going to start hurting more compared to what it used to be. Now, Smart Omega, they need to be completely aware of the positioning of the heroes on the side of RSG. If they're able to replicate what they did on that team fight in the Lord, just Mikko standing on the front line and catching the heroes on the side of RSG off guard and having this amazing space for Kelra, they have a chance of fighting into that. But also, do take note, damage output is still going to become an issue because EMANN and Exort just outputs more compared to what what they can dish out.
All right, so truth be told, about 3 minutes earlier, Omega was at a deficit, and they still won that engagement. They got away with a major objective. Now it's RSG's turn. They have to figure out how to solve this problem.
Yeah.
And is it safe to say that you figure out how to deal with Kelra, you're good?
I mean, for RSG, I think so.
Well, right now, they don't even want to let that happen, right? Conceal play going to come out. Look at Light, though, on the map.
Ooh,
waiting for an angle he can. He's going to get spotted out here a little bit, though. Flickers in. He blunders it. Has to get out here. Mikko, too. That's 2 flickers down. Now it's Renzio going in. Kelra pushing mid lane, though. RSG Slate's going to back off. There you go, Renzio. Still the focus here, H2O. Now going to get taken out. Immortality gets popped. Kelra did work in the mid lane. And now the rest of RSG Slate still going to back off here. They have 2 inhibitors down. It's even across the board. Kelra, Nathzz stuck to him. Looking to pull him back if he can. He can't get it. Now he's still with the team, and Lord is up.
The timing between that. No, there's a done. Another Zaman Force.
EMANN.
Another flicker going to come out here. Both teams. But look, this has been the trend of this game. The push and pull between both teams.
Midnight, did you see that? If Nathzz's usage of leaving that gluing and the grab was perfect, Kelra would be kaput.
Yeah, but RSG, again, this is becoming a problem for them right now. Smart Omega, this is the chaos that they want to introduce in the game. Okay, let's take crazy fights. But instead of having the Harith participate in the fights, let's just have him, clear the minion wave and pressure the towers. And Exort, he didn't know where to go. Do I defend? Do I fight? Because H2 just lost his immortality, and that's the way you want to fight with Smart Omega. Have RSG be confused so that they don't know where to commit. Because, look at their lineup. They need to win fights. But Omega, they can delay fights.
Mikko on the hunt again. Conceal play going to come out, just pushing H2O back. Still focusing on this Lord here. It's going to be the next one. This could actually end the game for them. It is going to be the 4th Lord of the game.
For sure.
And right now, both teams don't want to let this one go, as everybody trying to fight for pretty much space around this whole thing. Look at Light, too, looking for a setup. He whiffed it earlier.
Yeah.
So he's got to be crucial on how he approaches this next one.
It was an amazing position from Light. However, Raizen, the awareness to just check the bush, because you can't play without the threat of the Chou. I mean, you cannot underestimate the threat of a Chou waiting on the push. So he had to check everything that he wants to walk on so that he ensures that Smart Omega can just walk over this area safely. And that's where RSG fell apart. When Raizen saw the Chou, they knew that the members of RSG is here, Chou is here, Pharsa is definitely going to be there, EMANN will not be here. Then we start choking the map because they all know where the members of RSG are.
And with that, midnight, 25 minutes later, it seems like the tables have turned. Now it's RSG Slate's turn to actually get overloaded. Each hero in each role has to do several things to be able to answer this chaos that Omega is presenting. I just watched Exort. He's still there. Nice was talking, Mid was, now I'm still talking. He's still there. He was sitting in that same bush.
That's called patience, but right now, Nathzz going to be the focus here. 3 members of Smart Omega. They get the split out, right? So that is a minor advantage, but not sure if they want to fully commit to this just yet. Also, Raizen still bottom side, trying to hold on to that turret, the last one for their base.
Yeah, I am feeling the pressure here on the side of RSG. The players know it. There's always that threat of crazy plays coming out from Smart Omega. Even Exort's positioning has been affected. You know, the feathered airstrike that we saw earlier didn't really matter that much for Smart Omega because they were able to run away from it. But again, Light, he's trying to make another attempt on the back line of Smart Omega. This is what he is used to doing, but Omega, they have reviewed RSG. This is the favorite bush of Light. Whenever RSG tries to take Lords, he is always on that bush.
And that's the angle he uses. Whether or not the fight was over, they can punish, or they can just, again, come in and then make sure that the opponents get wiped out. Again, this is what they call turn to heroes. Now, this is the first time we've seen actually RSG in a while, at least in the past 5-6 minutes, rotate this wide, this huge in this map.
Yeah, but this does give an advantage to Smart Omega because, you know, skirmishes are much more favorable for them because the Hayabusa is just mobile enough to move around the map. And mind you, the Harith is going to become a problem if you don't fight 5 into 5 if you're RSG, because he will be able to delete some heroes if it's just a small skirmish. And it's small commitment for him because the Zaman Force, yes, it is a huge commitment, it is a huge ultimate, but its cooldown now is quite low.
Yeah, and I mean, given that, he doesn't have, from last I looked, he doesn't have an immortality, right?
Oh.
So H2O going to take quite a bit of damage here, gets knocked up a little bit too. Now 1/4 health, still has immortality. Like I said, Kelra's going to completely rely on that Zaman Force, the regen, those shields to stay alive and really kind of force the situation in that Zaman Force where it's more favorable for Smart Omega to fight in.
And look at that, with that small engagement, there's a pull on Nathzz.
Nathzz in trouble here. Zaman Force going to come
Kelra.
out, split as well.
No
There's
Zaman
EMANN,
Force.
though. Now Renzio trying to do something. Appraiser's Wrath comes out. It's going to back off for now. Look at Raizen, though, quite low as well. Exort has to get out of here. Stown took the feathered airstrike. And again, we're back to the situation. The push and pull, even ground.
A lot of green taken away from RSG as well. 3 of their major battle spells, while Omega is doing great. Look at this, Omega only really lost Stone's Flicker.
Yeah, and Inspire was also committed by EMANN, so if you're a Smart Omega, you'd consider that the damage output is greatly reduced on the side of RSG, but you still have to worry about, you know, the positioning of Pharsa, because the presence of the Feathered Airstrike into this Lord fight is going to matter a lot.
Well, they're still going to press the situation here.
Light,
though, able to find the target. Immortality is popped.
Oh, the
Can they
Truncheon.
grab the kill? Winter Truncheon going to come out. Still looking for it.
Stown.
Stone's still alive for now. And it's Nathzz finally able to take out Stown. And now he's down. Look at EMANN coming from the angles here. Into the jungle he goes. Renzio going to be the focus. They get the flicker out. Kelra still top side. Minions are in the base. It's Exort that gets deleted here.
Oh,
Kelra still alive and Light in trouble now too. EMANN gonna hit the Lord to heal up, but he could be in trouble. Flickers in.
Mikko
can't get the pull he's looking for.
Oh.
And Raizen takes out Light here as 2 are down for RSG Slate.
2 for 1 so far, went the long way around, but now Omega's making a beeline for the Lord.
This is such a big mess for RSG. They don't know where to fully commit. There's a lot of skirmishes happening on the side of Smart Omega. And the thing is, even if you try to chase for RSG, Omega will always get the upper hand. They can reset fights and take multiple of them.
EMANN, though, Appraiser's Wrath going to take him half health here. Should be able to heal back up. The spear comes out. Raizen's in trouble. H2O holding off for the retribution. The shadow kill comes out. And Raizen pops the immortality and gets the Lord on top of it. And now Renzio and Nathzz here. Mikko pulling the retreat. They don't want to go down after that play. And Raizen again with an amazing play.
This game can go on forever, but the cleaner decides this has to end someday soon. What a major pickup for Omega.
Omega, they just know how to execute fights better compared to RSG. And again, having this multiple fights is really, really great for them.
They're going to get the pull they need. EMANN's taken out here. This is going to be the final push for Smart Omega. 30 minutes in. Lord's still there. And they're just going to be seconds away here from end of the game. Kelra taking out Nathzz. And like that, Smart Omega comes in, turning the game around.
And that